Welcome back to today's build. Whether you're just looking for upgrades or have no idea how to build this deck, I'll be your guide to this wonderful game we all love. Let's get started. Today's deck will melt your hearts and minds. His name is Nekusar, and this is Danger Rave. Nekusar is almost as old as the Commander format itself, and today we're going to correct some pretty big misconceptions present in his average deck list. First of all, this is a burn deck. The delivery system for that burn is card draw, but we're still not thrilled that our opponents are drawing cards. We're trying to race their life totals to 0 before our opponents can effectively use that card advantage against us. But because it's a burn deck, where the goal is raw damage output, we don't have to rely exclusively on card draw to get the job done. If we can find a more efficient way of dealing that damage, we shouldn't be shy about using it to replace any weaker card draw pieces in the list. In short, lean more on the punish and less on the card draw. Additionally, since the end goal is still lowering life totals, we also shouldn't be shy about attacking. If you have profitable attacks, you should be taking them. First, we'll be cutting these symmetrical card draw pieces because they obscure the focus of the deck. It is not a group hug deck, it is a burn deck. The race is to burn out life totals before the cards can be used to stop us. With our commander on board, these pieces are far too slow to make a significant impact on the game. And if these are ever on board without our commander, these pieces give away cards without penalty, and that's going to cost us the race. Meanwhile, these replacements also serve to accelerate our damage output without needing to award extra cards. They even scale to any wheel effects we draw, even further accelerating our game plan, something symmetrical draw engines can't do. Speaking of playing nicely with wheels, these cards punish card draw much like our commander does, but with a few significant differences. Psychosis Crawler only deals damage when we draw, which means both it and our commander have to survive until our next turn for it to get its value. Ob Nixilis and Fate Unraveler are both extremely fragile due to their card types, not to mention that all of these are high on mana value. For this much mana, we could instead play any of these cards to copy our commander, who is also a quadratic growth target, one of the better kinds of creatures you can clone. Doing so accelerates both the damage taken from card draw as well as the number of cards drawn for the same mana, if not less, as the cards we'd be taking out for them. Not to mention that clone effects also provide redundancy, so that if someone does remove our commander, the deck can still work as intended. Peer into the Abyss and Reforge the Soul are both overcosted for what we're going for here. In playtests, this deck could kill the table by turn 6 with relative ease, and a 5-mana wheel is just too unwieldy for that. Waste Not isn't so expensive, but its suite of payoffs are not exactly that relevant for us, unlike certain other discard payoffs often in these lists. We'll be replacing them with these cards, with more relevant payoffs and more mana-efficient opportunities to execute similar effects. So what do our lands look like? Really briefly, apart from dual lands for our colors, Sunken Palace and Spinerock Knoll can close games for us very efficiently and cheaply. Lastly, we will be running Reliquary Tower. I'm normally an advocate for cutting this from decks on account of how overplayed and how little utility it usually offers us, but if we can keep a lot of the cards in our hand, effects like Windfall and Whispering Madness suddenly get a big upgrade and can even win the game on the spot. So what's our timeline? This deck has a rare suite of 1-drops we actually care about and can deploy early to set up our late game. The priority turn 2 is exclusively ramp. Don't keep a hand without ramp. In addition to ramping again, we can also deploy Draw Hate and Wheel Setup, but this is still too soon to deploy the commander without it getting removed. We could play our commander now, though most games I would rather put it off a turn to hold up protection. So instead, we'll start deploying damage accelerants and other setup pieces to accommodate our commander on turn 5. Most games I've playtested have enough setup to launch the nukes by this point, but if you still find that you need more, this is an excellent time to clone Nekusar. Otherwise, the goal is to try to win off of a single wheel, potentially even copied, with the damage enhanced by our other setup pieces, shredding life totals down to 0. Now that you have an idea of how the deck plays, let's chat about power. In playtesting, this deck was ripping wins reliably on or before turn 6, even before adding game changers. A deck that wants to play at that speed and win that quickly neither telegraphs incremental wins nor is comparable to an average precon. I think this deck is most at home in brackets 3 and 4. Orcish Bowmasters is too good to pass up here, and the Game Changer tutors alongside free interaction really give the deck the juice it needs to compete at higher level tables. And if 4 is where you want to play, that's what I'd recommend more of. A special thanks to all my amazing patrons. I started this channel to speak more to the game theory of Magic, which often takes up more time than YouTube is kind for, and the generous support of my patrons makes it possible to create the way that I want to. Patrons have access to cut content, extended discussions, guides, and resources for their favorite decks, as well as the occasional spell table game over on Discord. Consider supporting the channel today. And if you like this video, give it a share and subscribe for more so you don't miss any of these upcoming videos.